students in the campus, it is something that is immense. Mainly because you can actually see the impact of the critical thinking that UDSF made, particularly in the left-leaning campus. We have some of the founding members here with us who had that vision, and that vision continued for the last 33 years. And as a result now, we have the younger UDSF members carrying on that legacy. And I think that itself is an example of the way in which UDSF contributed to the critical thinking. I think one of the first things that UDSF helped me particularly, I remember being part of one of the first meetings that we had in 1991, sometime in October. We were sitting in that basketball court in a circle. I still remember Gajendran leading that meeting. That was my first, in some ways tryst with, UDSF. And I think what UDSF inculcated among the students is the aspect of critical thinking. Not just thinking, but critical thinking. Understanding various social, political, and economic issues, particularly through the lenses of Dalit consciousness. It actually paved the way for that ecosystem, whereby we began to think about our social issues from a completely different perspective, not from the left, not from the right, but what I call is a perspective from below. I think this is what we've actually imbibed from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and many others. And if you see UDSF, what were the last 30 years? Every year we get a fresh batch of students. And each batch, in a way, gets exposed to this kind of critical thinking. Imagine, for instance, the annual conferences that UDSF members have been committed to organizing was a great example, because conceptualizing the theme of a conference, especially related to our issues, trying to see the various dimensions, actually helped them to broaden the lenses and to really understand various facets of our own struggles on the campus. My friends have very interestingly highlighted how we struggle at various stages. And let me give you some personal examples from my own journey in the School of International Studies. In fact, when we proposed the topic on Mao Zedong and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, this is something that was unheard of in the School of International Studies. How can you do a thesis on Ambedkar in a science? You know what? The center, what they said? Almost all the faculty members, they said no to Ambedkar. And you know what they proposed? They said, do something on Mao and Gandhi. Then we said no. Then they gave another alternative. Do something on Mao and Nehru. that the student, Dinesh Ahirwal, who is now teaching in Central University, Sikkim. He not only completed his PhD, and he got a job at Central University. Then another one, as Paramit spoke a little while back, and he did his PhD on Deng Xiaoping, one of the pioneering leaders of economic reform in China, and comparing his social, political, and economic thought with Manyawar Kanshila. Basically, what we tried doing was to push the envelope of the themes that SIS was not really known for. The other two students who went on to do a postdoctoral study in New York as part of India-China scholarship, they did their PhD on social exclusion in India and China, comparing UP and Sichuan. Then another one, social inequality, comparing Manipur with Yunnan. So basically, the kind of exposure that we've had as part of UDSF, though it's not very active, but my association with Gajendra, we were in the same hostel for about 6 years, 91 to 97, until he joined the company in 95, and then I joined in 97. So that kind of ecosystem of critical thinking played an important role. And I would encourage the new members to really look at how we can push the envelope of our own understanding, grapple with discrimination. I can tell you, in terms of faculty recruitment, before 95, there was not even one Dalit faculty in my center. Then today I can tell you, now we are at least 5 from SCSD faculty. That's a kind of a paradigm shift. I could have done more, but this is something, my humble contribution to the whole ecosystem, where we can actually, try and see how we can contribute to our own community. Basically, I think we need to develop that kind of a holistic understanding of various social, political, and economic issues. And I think that's possible, partly because UDSF and the way Malcolm, Gajendra, and others have actually, paved the way for. And it is in this, context, I would like to propose a couple of things. As I was telling yesterday, how do we actually spread the UDSF spirit to other campuses? Of course, other campuses do have their own, student organizations to, work, and then ensure that our own issues are taken up. But I think we can actually try and, partner and work together and see how best we can, work together and make it a kind of a national movement. That's one. The second one, I think, as some of our students, have pointed out, that some of us don't really financially help the UDSF and even BAPSA. So one thing is that we need to really forge that unity. I kept telling Parmit and others that let UDSF be a kind of an intellectual wing and BAPSA be a political wing, and let there be unity. We need to really rise above our differences. And in this context, I would like to propose that we should probably have a corpus wherein all the faculty members, we can actually contribute a little bit so that our students can actually, use that money and continue the
Mr. Prasad sir. So our next topic is why did one should join UDSF as a student? And on this topic we have two speakers, Professor Narendra Kumar sir and Dr. Kaushal Kumar sir. So first I would like to invite Dr. Kaushal Kumar sir to deliver his talk.
Good afternoon to all. I know we all are feeling very hungry, including me. As well, so I will limit to 5 minutes. Because these things is not like that way. We are what today we are going to discuss. These things we keep discussing throughout our life or whenever we meet as a student. So one of the most important aspect is like that why you also join the UDSF student union. Because as you know, the Indian society is divided into two castes. Caste is a reality. And if this reality is to be revealed, if this reality is not going to be different, then we have to have our own group, our own associations where we can talk freely. We have our own opinions freely and we can connect to from our own people. So there's another thing like that. So in order to that way, because of the same thought, same process, same emotions is there, we can open freely. But that is the reasons that we should have our own, it's not about the political, but at least have our social group so that we can connect very easily. And that is the reasons that because in our group you'll find how bad a friend might be, he or she won't think bad about you. Okay? It happens that whatever you feel, you will say. That's what we like a sophisticated way of approach, where his perception is something different and he is communicating something different, the strong way of behaving. And that is by joining the UDSF kind of group, you are able to realize who is yours and who is not yours. That things becomes important. Another thing aspect because it gives you a strength to feel like that way. That is what is your reality. Like that's why I've told you as well, hiding our caste. Okay, if that's we have so-called born in this Hindu society, that was not. We try to hide our caste, that has been reality. But when we expose to the UDSF, we don't know. Okay, so what harms? If you are a Brahmin, I'm also Dalit. The day if you go there, that will be exposed to like that. Okay, that is I'm very innocent kid. There's no harm in that. Am I doing some things for society or not? If I do, I will be politically aware, socially aware. I will be able to deliver that word to our own people. So there's many examples, many things that many of our seniors this year we keep discovering in meetings. Like that way, it's one incident a few days you can say, a few months ago. There was got a call from some of the political organization where I went with some of my senior colleagues. So that was asking about just about the court decision that was the bifurcation in the SC/STs there now. So they were looking somebody from those civil caste, from every caste, so that they can incorporate the assembly pass over. Let me. He called me, that's okay, I'm Dalit. Yes, I'm Dalit. So who are you? So who are you means? What do you want to me? Do you want to know my caste? So he was, yes, if you want to know my caste, do ask my caste. My caste is Jawahar. So he, like this way, okay, if you ask me clearly about this way, the guy is sitting next to me, I was in another colleague's house and he was registered like that way. When we greeted and part after the party, this girl's PhD student from JNU itself, from other department. And then the way I spoke about depending on my caste, he said, sir, I'm married Dalit, लेकिन जिस तरह से आप बोल रहे हैं मैं सब बोल नहीं पाती. And then she said about she was not from my caste, another caste like Dhobi. She was there. So I also felt like that. But there's no harm in that part. You should accept that thing is there. So this kind of boldness and that aspect it gives you, and once you become clear about your identity, your path, your future planning will be much more easier. You won't deviate. So that is the reasons that is very important. There's many story you are faced with others. So that we will keep discussing maybe sometime later. Okay, with this I'll conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kaushal Kumar sir. Now I would invite Professor Narendra.
Thank you, judging friends. I think much has been said. So I would just like to say that why do we join UDSF and why to join UDSF for the new members in particular. I think to join UDSF, you are at present and you are looking towards the future. But you cannot look towards the future without getting back to the past. And for that, I think you need to join UDSF kind of organizations, wherein you would try to understand that where do we stand today and how are we expecting for tomorrow without forgetting the past. Because if we go from present to the past, to the future, then we will not be doing what we are supposed to do. The kind of ideals which have been given by our forefathers, great people, we will not be doing that. Rather, we will be in a big jungle without any direction. So I think that's where the UDSF kind of organization, why should we join the UDSF? And the responsibility of the existing CC members in particular becomes very, very important. If you yourself are dwindling here and there, then it is really difficult and it would not be actually inspiring for the common members. See, two examples you have seen, that's somebody went to the political organization and got back to UDSF. Central committee. So, you see that what is this? Why should one be joining like that? And somebody has been telling, people have been telling that I also contested a presidential election here. That purpose was a different kind of purpose. And you know, my supervisor, because he is no more, so I can tell that. Professor C.P. Bhamra, I contested, and after a few days, I happened to meet him. And you know what he says? Election लड़े थे, क्या हुआ? And you know, I told him, हारना ही था सर, हार गए. And he was shocked to know this confidence कि हारना ही था, हार गए. क्योंकि I knew that I am not contesting to win. I am contesting to tell that what part do me and my organization stands. So that is how things are. Just to tell you just one more example. JNU has been known for being like non-violence and not disturbing the normal kind of functioning. I was telling to Dalit sir yesterday that there was a person, S.K. Singh. He was a foreign secretary, former foreign secretary. In this hall itself, where I am standing, he was standing here. And he wrote an article in Times of India saying that the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people join civil services only to take bribes and to become richer. And we got to know that this fellow is coming here as a speaker. There was a dilemma with us that how do we protest? Because JNU is not for disturbing normal seminar. much, we can't take it. And we need to tell him that, sorry, you cannot go from this campus like this. And UDSF, 12 of us, we prepared placards during the night and planned that only this much of people would be knowing what we are going to do tomorrow. We came here in this hall, stood like this, two of us there, 2 of us here, 2 of us like that. And when he started speaking, we just showed these placards without saying anything. And everybody was shocked. Because that kind of thing never happened in JNU. That speaker comes and he faces. And then we felt apologized with the professor who was organizing this seminar. That, sorry sir, our intention was not to disturb your seminar, but we wanted that this person should be told that we are not going to tolerate this nonsense. So this is how UDSF has been functioning, and we need to function that way only. We cannot fight one to one, and there is no need to fight that way. We have to fight with the ideas. We have to fight with the calmness, and as it has been referred, Manevar Kansiram's name has been referred many times, and I think he used to say कि हम अपने जो दिल में है वहाँ पे आग रखते हैं और अपने दिमाग को में जो है बर्फ रखते हैं. So this is how I think all of us need to learn, and that is where what the UDSF gives the platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Narendra Kumar sir. Our next topic is how UDSF is more than a social and cultural organization. And on that topic, I would like to invite Professor Man Pratap Rana sir to deliver his talk.
Thank you, and forgive me if I am going to disappoint some of my colleagues. And my dear students, Central Committee member of UDSF, Indrajit, Aditya Rao, Usha, Kumar Jitu, Subham, Satya Prakash, Prince, Suyas, they have done a commendable job as far as strengthening this UDSF organization. And I congratulate these young budding scholars to take ahead this journey. And let me start from here. And if someone feels embarrassed, I apologize for that. Dalit history starts from me. I am the crusader. No one was before me. And those who are nowhere in this entire Dalit movement, they are portrayed as if they are the only crusader in this country, in this campus. Wow, क्या history हम बना रहे हैं. And this is the reason why UDSF is the journey of UDSF has completed in 34 years. This is the reason. I am the one. I am not the founder member. Number one. Number two, sir, let me cite 2-3 examples. First national census, I will come to you. I will not take much of your time. कि 5 मिनट में तो झूठ भी मैं नहीं बोल पाऊंगा, सच क्या बोलूंगा. This is the reality. और मास्टर की आदत होती बोलूंगा, सच बोलूंगा, चाहे सभी गाली देते हुए चले जाए. I damn care. 1871 में पहली सेंसस हुई थी. First census was conducted in India in 1871. And 1871 census, 1869 there was a more and more much powerful movement in Bengal. And the agenda of the movement was untouchable community or a separate race, separate people, separate culture, separate civilization. Therefore, we should not be enumerated along the Hindus. पढ़िए ना थोड़ा सा सेंसस पढ़ना चाहिए. That is the history. 1871 and Bengal Namushudra was enumerated separately in 1871. Sir, भूल जाइए उसके बाद और भी आ रहा. 74 अगर सही बोल दूंगा तो बहुत लोग नाराज हो जाएंगे. इमरजेंस ऑफ यूडीएस मत नहीं बोलूंगा. सब हार्श वर्ड. इससे पहले था शेड्यूल कास्ट शेड्यूल ट्राइब वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन जेएनयू. दैट वाज मच पावरफुल. ऋचा सिंह का जो लोग 89 में आए थे, मैं 89 में रहा हूं. आई वॉज स्टूडेंट ऑफ जेएनयू कैंपस 89. देयर वॉज अ केस अगेंस्ट ऋचा सिंह. Caste discrimination. Or who was the president? Salhan Kumar D was the president of SC/ST Student Welfare Association. Subedar Singh Arya was the general secretary of SC/ST Student Welfare Association. Radhe Shyam Paswan was a member of this organization. And the massive protest at this unity was shown in 1989. I was a newly admitted student in this campus. Against this discrimination with our girl, more than 200 students gathered at this basketball. जो ये प्राइमरी इसका ये है सेंट्रल स्कूल. And everybody decided tomorrow, latest by day after tomorrow, we are going to take the revenge. How these boys dare to say something, pass a remark against our girl. That was the situation. And now that girl became IPS. और उसके बाद कैसे यूडीएसएफ का आया वो तो बात थी. That I am not going to discuss. साउथ नॉर्थ हमेशा होता रहता है. नॉर्थ वाले बड़े डोमिनेट करते हैं तो साउथ वालों का कुछ होना चाहिए. रियलिटी इज दिस. व्हाई वी आर एस्केपिंग टू एडमिट द रियलिटी. सर मैं भी उतना ही हूं. आई एम नॉट अ फाउंडर मेंबर ऑफ यूडीएस. मैं भी उसी से सीखा जो चल रहा है. और आज भी अगर यूडीएसएफ के बच्चे निकल जाते हैं तो 5-6 फैकल्टी के सिवा होंगे करीब करीब SC/ST के 100 फैकल्टी से कम तो नहीं होंगे. जेएनयू ऑलमोस्ट 100 तो होंगे. 118. 6-7 फैकल्टी के सिवा कोई साथ में निकल के आता नहीं. कितना ह्यूमिलिएशन यूडीएसएफ के जो सेंट्रल कमेटी वाले बच्चे को हमारा होता है. अब बड़ा रिवोल्यूशन हम ले आते हैं. जब बैठ जाते हैं 50 बच्चों को देख लेते हैं तो रियलिटी से कन्फ्रंट करिए डियर. एंड वी ऑल आर प्रोडक्ट ऑफ मूवमेंट. 1983 में जो उमा ने कहा है, 1983 में मान्यवर कांचीराम को बुलाया था, मैंने बुलाया था. एट्रोसिटीज ऑन दलित्स एंड रोल ऑफ द पॉलिटिशियन को इसी ऑडिटोरियम में 92 में. सुजाता सिंह वॉज देयर. आवाम थिएटर एंड मास मीडिया. शी वॉज द फर्स्ट दलित गर्ल्स हु डिड हर ग्रेजुएशन इन सिनेमा एंड मास मीडिया. कौशल्या बैसंत्री की बेटी. आई वर्क विद कौशल्या बैसंत्री ऑल्सो. She died almost, you can say, 6-7 years before. कौशल्या बैसंत्री, जिसकी शादी जो हुई थी देवेंद्र कुमार बैसंत्री से बिहार से. समझना चाहिए ना. एंड कौशल्या बैसंत्री आधा अधूरा जहां अम्बेडकर से फायदा मिल रहा हो वहां अम्बेडकर का नाम ले लो, बाकी हट जाओ. दैट शुड नॉट बी आवर स्पिरिट. एंड वी आर नॉट ट्रूली अम्बेडकराइट आल्सो. ऑनेस्टली स्पीकिंग, जिन लोगों ने कोई काम नहीं किया वो चैंपियन हो गए. Let me recognize my contribution to my brother Rajkumar has made. हम लोग दिन भर पोस्टर लिखते थे. और रात में चिपकाते थे बीएसएफ का। जो नॉर्थ, ये जो वेस्ट गेट है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का, दैट वाज नोन एज ए बीएसएफ कार्यालय हो गया है, इतना मोटा मोटा बड़ा बड़ा। अपरैस माय ब्रदर राजकुमार रिमेंबर कि एक बार तो सीढ़ी लगा के मैं ही चिपका रहा था ऊपर से पोस्टर, और सीढ़ी ऐसे लगा कि मैं गिरूंगा, खत्म हो जाऊंगा। दैट इज द हिस्ट्री वी हैव मेड। गोपालन की कैंटीन के पीछे था मोटा मोटा पोस्टर, बहुजन स्टूडेंट फ्रंट। 4 लोग थे, एक सोनिका लड़की थी। सोनिका को कहा जाता कैंपस की मायावती। दैट वॉज अ टाइटल गिवन टू हर। उसके बाद रेणु भगत थी, सोनिका थी, एल केनेडी था, ये सभी के सभी जो ऐसे आर्म ग्रुप, यू कैन से कि दीज वर द पीपल कंट्रीब्यूटेड इन दिस मूवमेंट। वो यूडीएसएफ का पार्ट नहीं था, बीएसएफ के। एंड another important dimension I would like to bring to your notice, that is the history behind formation of the BSF बहुजन स्टूडेंट फ्रंट। जैसे होता है ना कि हमारा काम जो है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में पोस्टर चिपकाना है, मैंने कहा ना ये नहीं हो सकता। और मेरा भाई रमेश बैरवा वाज इन दिस SFI। एवरी ईयर दे यूज्ड टू ask him to contest for the post of counselor। SFI पूरा पैनल जीत जाती थी और रमेश बैरवा हार जाता। एवरी ईयर इट यूज्ड टू हैपन। और रमेश बैरवा जो हारता था, हमने कहा ये तो बड़ा गड़बड़ है, चलेगा नहीं बाबा। BSF was formed। और वो इंस्पिरेशन कहां से मिली? मान्यवर कांसी राम केम टू दिस कैंपस इन 1992 and he stayed here for a whole day with the students। This SS auditorium was, you can say, half of the population was standing outside। Atrocities and role of the politician, वो बोले थे। और जो उसके बाद का जो इंटरेस्टिंग था कि जब हम लोगों ने फॉर्म किया, there were only Uma was there, Rajkumar was there, this Sonika was there, Liaquat Ali was there, he was a SFI fellow, but he joined, resigned from SFI and joined this BSF। और 4 लोगों का डियर ब्रदर संगठन, हार्डली 4-5, the way this बहुजन स्टूडेंट फ्रंट made the space in this campus, कि first time I secured 774 votes। 100-150 और बढ़ा लिए होते तो जीत जाते। कंप्यूटर साइंस में है प्रोफेसर DK लोबियाल, उनके सेंटर में इनफैक्ट आई वॉज नॉट अवेयर कि हाउ मेनी स्टूडेंट्स आर देयर। वहां से भी मुझे 86-87 वोट मिला था। और रेस्ट ऑफ द पैनल जो होता था बीएसएफ को छोड़ करके, दैट वाज ब्लैंक। केवल बीएसएफ, रेस्ट ऑफ द ब्लैंक इफ काउंसिलर इज नॉट देयर। ये कमिटमेंट था इस तरह से। स्टेंसिल भी कटवाना है, पोस्टर भी लिखना, चिपकाना भी है, पोस्टर भी बनाना। उमाकांत बैठ के करते थे, राजकुमार बैठ के करते थे। और उसके बाद सेकंड जो टेक ओवर किया प्रोफेसर नरेंद्र कुमार लोगों ने। और ये जब मैं ये कहता हूं, मैं किसी का क्रिटिकल नहीं हूं, आई एम नॉट क्रिटिसाइजिंग एनीवन, लेकिन द वे थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग, वी शुड पुट एवरीथिंग इन अ राइट पर्सपेक्टिव। विदाउट टेलिंग द ट्रूथ वी कैन नॉट लीड द हिस्ट्री, वी कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड द हिस्ट्री। एंड अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आई वुड लाइक टू मेंशन हियर, माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स। आज के ईसी जो है ना, कौन है ये? इलेक्शन कमीशन, चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर कोई कुमार साहब। मेरे भाई बैठे हैं, मोहित भी ईसी होते थे। हम लोग बड़े सिक्योर रहते थे, मोहित चौधरी और ये भूप सिंह, चिन्ना राव, वी वर क्वाइट सिक्योर। अंदर से तो कुछ गड़बड़ नहीं हो सकता। And really they were they gave every possible help to us। And I can say, I can add another story that is very important। SFI का पैनल जो आया, हमारा पैनल आया, EC chairman came to me just 5 minutes before the time was getting over। He asked me, महेंद्र, अपने वाइस प्रेसिडेंट को जनरल सेक्रेटरी दिला दो। मैंने कहा ये क्यों? एसएफआई के पास जनरल सेक्रेटरी कैंडिडेट नहीं है। एसएफआई के पास जनरल से मैंने कहा यार झूठ बोल रहे, क्यों झूठ बोल रहे हो, एसएफआई कैंडिडेट तो है। कह रहा तुम मेरी बात मान लो, एंड दैट इज द हेल्प वी वर गेटिंग फ्रॉम आवर ईसी चेयरमैन एंड ईसी मेंबर्स, परहैप्स मोहित वाज आल्सो ईसी मेंबर। कह रहे तुम मान लो मेरी बात कि तुम जो अपने वाइस प्रेसिडेंट को जनरल सेक्रेटरी पे ला दो। हम लोगों ने वाइस प्रेसिडेंट को जनरल सेक्रेटरी पे ला दिया। लाने के बाद 1 घंटे बाद शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग हुई, शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग करके लिस्ट डिस्प्ले हुई। एसएफआई का कैंडिडेट जो है कैंसिल। और जब वो एसएफआई का कैंडिडेट जो है वो हो गया, तो व्हाट हैपेंड, नेक्स्ट डे मॉर्निंग द सेम रमेश बैरवा वाज डिप्लॉयड कि राणा भाई क्या जाओ, राणा भाई से रिक्वेस्ट कर लो। वो अगर एक लाइन लिख दे कि कैंडिडेचर ऑफ सच एंड सच पर्सन शुड बी एक्सेप्टेड बाय द ईसी, तो काम बन जाएगा। उनको एसएफआई वाला और आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंस था, कम्युनिटी डिफरेंस नहीं था, नेवर। ही इज माई गुड फ्रेंड, आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंस आई सेड नो। और क्या रमेश बैरवा सुबह सुबह 6:30 बजे आके दरवाजा नॉक कर रहा है, और मैं उठा ऐसे करके, क्या हुआ रमेश, गुस्सा मत होइएगा भाई साहब। मैंने कहा हुआ क्या, एक बात आपसे कहनी। मैंने कहा बोलो। एक लाइन आप लिख दी, सभी संगठन वाले तैयार हैं, एक लाइन आप लिख दीजिए कि उस कैंडिडेट को कैंडिडेचर एक्सेप्ट कर ले इसी, सभी तैयार। मैंने कहा एक संगठन, एक आदमी का एक संगठन भी होगा, अगर वो पहला लिख देगा, दूसरा मैं होगा कि दिस इज टू सर्टिफाई दैट सच एंड सच पर्सन शुड बी डिक्लेयर्ड एज ए कैंडिडेट, एक भी लिख दे, वो भी नहीं हुआ। उसके बाद राजेश भाकड़ लेकर के पूरी टीम आई, मैंने कहा ना वो भी नहीं हुआ। और द रीजन, even today I am accused because of you, I could not become the general secretary of JNU. Even today, we all are colleagues. This was an ideological battle. This was the ideological, debate. And honestly speaking, because of our pressure, the way elections was conducted, SFI was forced to bring Dalit candidate.
Yes. True.
That is the reason. And the way presidential election was held, my brother is there, Mohit brother, there, and I am not posing myself, I am a very intellectual, very knowledgeable, no, not at all. But there was a, can say, head-on collision between Chandrasekhar and Mahendra Pratap Rana. और आज कुछ लोग जानते भी हो, 16 मिनट की वीडियो बनी थी बीबीसी की, और उसके बावजूद भी जो हुआ कि अब तो एसएफआई को लगा कि इस बार तो गए हम काम से। नेक्स्ट टाइम बत्तीलाल बैरवा को लाया गया कि नहीं, दिस इज द ओनली वे वी कैन सेव द एसएफआई। बत्तीलाल बैरवा नेक्स्ट टाइम आए, और उसके बाद बत्तीलाल बैरवा नेक्स्ट टाइम एंड नेक्स्ट टू नेक्स्ट, ये हुआ। दिस इज द हिस्ट्री।
2 साल लगातार है।
हाँ, 2 साल वही है। तो वी हैव टू पुट आवर हिस्ट्री इन अ राइट पर्सपेक्टिव। वो मैं नहीं जा रहा हूं कि कैसे यूडीएसएफ का इमर्जर, दैट इज नॉट माई, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू क्रिएट एनी कंट्राडिक्शन और कंफ्यूजन। दूसरा एक और इंपॉर्टेंट कंट्रीब्यूशन, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू मेंशन हियर, व्हेन आई वाज कंटेस्टिंग इलेक्शन, ये बैंडिट क्वीन क्या नाम था उनका, फूलन देवी। फूलन देवी was a star campaigner of my election. नर्मदा हॉस्टल, फूलन देवी नर्मदा में आई थी। झेलम में तो आए थे रामदास अठावले। एंड फूलन देवी सुबह से शाम तक हम लोग लगे थे उनको रिक्वेस्ट करने की, मैडम किसी तरह से हाँ कर दीजिए, मैडम किसी, वो एक बार हाँ कर देती थी, फिर ना कर देती, फिर हाँ कर देती थी, फिर ना कर देती। उमा को कहे घुमा आप किसी तरह से मैनेज करिए भीड़। फिर इधर से राजकुमार भी थे, इधर से और लोग भी जितने थे। अल्टीमेटली 3:30 बजे, और जितने फॉरेनर्स हो सकते हैं, दे केम टू सी वल्ली फूलन देवी नर्मदा हॉस्टल। और जब 774 वोट पाए हम लोग, और बाकी ब्लैंक 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 लोगों को आंख खुल गई। कह रहे तो लगता है कि 2 साल में हमारी तो विदाई हो जाएगी पक्का। एंड वी वर फर्म बिलीवर इफ आई वुड हैव बीन इन दिस कैंपस फॉर नेक्स्ट 2 years, क्योंकि पीएचडी भी सबमिट करना नहीं तो आज खड़ा भी नहीं होते आपके सामने। तो वो चीजों को 774 वोट पाने के बाद जो सिचुएशन बनी कि अब क्या किया जाए, अब तो मुश्किल है, पीएचडी भी कंप्लीट करना है। एंड दूसरा जो मैं कह रहा था कि वी शुड नॉट डिलेजिटिमाइज आवर प्रेडिसर्स। ये हमारे अंदर एक हिस्ट्री है, हमें बहुत मैं ही हूं, कंट्रीब्यूट किया, मेरा कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन तो नहीं रहा। आई डोंट बाई दिस फिलॉसफी। लेफ्ट का कैंपस था, इंटायर कैंपस वॉज डोमिनेटेड बाई एसएफआई, लेकिन हाउ कैन वी फॉरगेट द कंट्रीब्यूशन मेड बाई चंद्रभान प्रसाद, द वे ही वॉज राइटिंग इन दोज डेज, the way he was coming out with his own, despite being an ultra leftist person. And Jhelum and Satluj was a center point for this entire activity. सुबेदार भी वही रहते थे, सलन कुमार भी वही रहते थे, ये भी वही रहते थे. That was the contribution, and we have to give them due space to these our predecessors, our seniors. And I'm not going to take much of उसमें राधे श्याम, चंद्रभान प्रसाद, केवी राम, एल केनेडी, सुबेदार आर्या, ये सारे के सारे लोग थे। एंड जो लैक हुआ, मैं बता रहा हूं, यूडीएसएफ की जो सबसे बड़ी कमी, इवन टुडे when UDSF was formed, only one point I am going to raise. ST tribal people were very critical to UDSF, tribal students. And this is an organization of the Dalit community, and they came out from this fold. And before that, SC/ST students organization was there, ST representation was given there. I don't know how many ST are EC member or central committee member right now. I don't know if they are representing right now. So from that time onwards, this UDSF became an exclusive organization, not inclusive organization. This is my way of understanding what I understood. और बड़े अच्छे अच्छे प्रपोजल आए हैं उसमें कि हमको ऐसा करना चाहिए, हमको ऐसा करना। I will be the happiest person if it is going to turn into reality. क्योंकि नरेंद्र के दर्द को मैं समझ सकता हूं कि 34 साल में बेचारा समझ पाए है, ऑर्गेनाइज कर पाए। आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड द अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी ही हैज पुट टू ब्रिंग 120-30 पीपल टुगेदर। I should acknowledge his contribution, the way he has made his effort and contribution. और कुछ एक चीजें होती है जब तक हम लोग मेलकम मार्क्स को नहीं पढ़ते हैं, हमारी हिस्ट्री कंप्लीट है, हमारे यहाँ जैसे लगता नहीं है। बड़ा अरे पढ़ो तो स्वामी अच्युतानंद हरिहर को। He was the person who invited Dr. B.R. Ambedkar at Lal Bagh in 1927-28 around this Simon Commission. And he was the person, Swami Achyutanand, he was well versed in eight languages. He was a son of the military Subedar. आगरा में जो लाए थे वो थे। And we had our separate region, separate religion, separate culture, separate civilization. आदि धर्म was there. पंजाब से लेकर उत्तर प्रदेश उन्नाव में आदि धर्म was very powerful movement. कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट आदि धर्म में बनती थी। There were 56 आदि धर्म movement held in across the country. Even that time, people in 1928 आदि धर्म सम्मेलन which had held in Prayag Kumbh Mela. That time, people from Tehran came and documentation is available. धर्म भी था। And round table conference, Simon Commission, around Ramsay MacDonald, everywhere you have enough material to study. This untouchable community never been part of this Hindu society. They were separate race, separate region, separate religion, separate culture. वो बात की चीज है। उसके बाद क्या क्या हुआ, और 2-3 चीजें मैं बोल के अपनी बात समाप्त कर रहा हूं, क्योंकि अदरवाइज हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजर के भी चिट्ठी आ जाएगी तो उससे पहला आई डोंट वांट टू पुट माई सेल्फ इनटू दिस। इनका कंट्रीब्यूशन जो प्रेजेंट जो ईसी मेंबर्स हैं, दे हैव डन अ कमेंडेबल जॉब एंड at least I request everyone should give a big applause to all of them. And from organizing this Babu Manguram's Jayanti, Dina Bhana Jayanti, Manohar Kanshiram Jayanti, and whole dedicated Saptah, Ambedkar Saptah for 1 day, 3 days, right, for 3 days conducted by this executive committee member. And another important discussion somewhere in 2-3 months before then UDSF organized this what is called debate seminar on categorization of reservation. So these are some of the important contribution in fact made by this and everybody is having their own opinion about their own stake about this UDSF. But I can say that the way UDSF, my budding scholars are contributing, are making effort to strengthen UDSF. Right now, these, this next 2-3 years, before that, in fact, I can say that UDSF was non-functional organization, I can say. It is, I have to accept the reality. And any program, whenever they have an approach, I am the person, at least I am ready. Of course, I teach different subject. I studied this, completed my dissertation, FL dissertation in 1991. Comparative study of Algeria and Libya and Egypt. And PhD comparison of nationalist movement of this Egypt and India. And being a student of West Asia, it has nothing to do with Dalit movement and Dalit cause. But since I come from the community, this is my first and foremost duty to at least update myself what is happening with my people. How I can contribute in this movement in a bigger way, and I try my level best to support. And eminent speakers were invited by this UDSF Executive Central Committee member when they celebrated Ravidas Jayanti. Eminent speaker Professor Sakti Kumar was there, Satnam Singh was there, Balbir Madhav Puri was there, and when they celebrated Bhim Saptah in 2024, the continuous 3 days seminar. And interesting thing, in this small budget, I don't know how they manage this delicious food. Of course, I can say, even being a faculty member, we are not able to arrange this kind of interaction. And Kansiram Jayanti was they celebrated, and this Babu Manguram's Jayanti. So this kind of the social reformers, they are bringing, despite their busy schedule, they are engaged in academic persuasion, academic work, despite in this changing scenario, the way the situation is changing, the way entire academia is under threat, or you can say suffraganization is taking place very, very prominently. And another important, just to see the website of JNU. Before, I can say I am referring to just to go, you can 5 years before, number of chairperson belonging to this community was more, and deans were, and Professor D.K. Lobial had been. But now you calculate 17-18 chairpersons are there, and new phrase is used. You are hereby appointed chairperson till further order. ये till क्या होता, कब तक? कल चाहिए रिमूव कर दीजिए ना. That kind of discrimination is taking place with our community. Till further order. और डीन तो मुझे लग रहा है सर, एक तो कोई मीरा साहब है, वो कोई संगीतों के होंगे डीन शायद, मुझे लग रहा है, वो एक साइड से मैंने नोट करके निकाला है. And representation of Dalit community in administration is drastically going down. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है, सब चीजें मैं निकाल के रखा हूं, और हो सकता है कि कुछ पब्लिक में नहीं लाना चाहिए, हो सकता है कुछ दिन बाद ये उठना भी शुरू हो जाए कि हाँ कितने की, ये बता दीजिए कि कितने लोग हैं कहां कहां। एंड एक डिस्कशन मेरा जो हुआ था, तो इस समय जो कभी आप लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा, थ्रेट कल्चर इन JNU, इट इज ट्रू एंड इट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द टॉप। आपको ह्यूमिलेट भी किया जाएगा, थ्रेट भी दिया जाएगा, और यूज किया जाएगा टर्म, यू डोंट नो आई हैव इनॉर्मस पावर। अरे बाबा इनॉर्मस पावर है तो व्हाई नॉट यू डिमोट टू एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर और असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर, इनॉर्मस पावर कर लो ना। तो इस तरह के हालात हैं इस सिचुएशन में। इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट कि कैसे हम लोग इस बात को रखेंगे, कैसे समझेंगे, कैसे स्ट्रगल करेंगे। एक एजेंडा हमको तैयार करना है। एजेंडा ये 1 महीना 2 महीने, आई एम नॉट forcing my student. If I am facing this kind of situation, then I can understand the amount of pressure our students are facing. So I cannot force. But at least the way 115-20 faculty members gathered yesterday, if you are regularly organizing this kind of interaction, it will really help we all, including faculty members. अभी अगर मीटिंग बुला दीजिए तो 15-20 तो फैकल्टी मेंबर्स ज्यादा नहीं आएंगे, और जिस दिन मीटिंग आप करेंगे उसी दिन उनको सारे घर के डोमेस्टिक वर्क निकल जाते हैं। द मोमेंट यू अनाउंस द डेट। अब दूसरा जो होता है, आपने मुझसे तो पूछा नहीं, जैसे लगता मैं ही सबसे ज्यादा चौधरी हूं यहां। उनके पूछ करके ये लोग जो लोग किए हैं इनसे पूछेंगे, मेरा हो सकता है मैं ही 16 को ना फ्री रहा तो क्यों मुझसे पूछे, व्हाट आई एम हियर। दिस इज माय फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट ड्यूटी। इफ माय कलीग हैज फिक्स अप द डेट, आई हैव टू बी देयर। इतना कमिटमेंट होकर के रखना चाहिए। और उसके बाद डिबेट करेंगे, बच्चों को बुला कर उसको धमकाएंगे, लोग डांटते हैं बच्चों को, लोग इसी मेंबर्स जाते हैं उनको ह्यूमिलिएट करते हैं फैकल्टी में। दिस द फैक्ट। We have to change our approach. We have to change our attitude. फैकल्टी मेंबर को चेंज करना चाहिए। मेरे बच्चे जाते हैं उनके पास तो उनको ह्यूमिलिएट करते हैं, उसके बाद कहते हैं तुम कल के बाद से हमारे पास आना, कमरे में अकेले बैठे रहेंगे, कहने नहीं थोड़ी देर बाद आना। दिस इज द अप्रोच। वो जो हो गए वो तो उनको पता है वो कौन लोग हैं, वो हम लोग भी जानते हैं।
अब बैठे नहीं है तो उनका बोलने का मुझे लगता है
नहीं वही ठीक है। तो इसलिए वो चीजों का नहीं, बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं हम। कम से कम ये मैं कह सकता हूं कि वो चीजें पब्लिकली ना कहूं तो ज्यादा बेहतर है बच्चों के लिए।
बच्चे सुन भी नहीं पाएंगे आप क्या करेंगे।
नहीं
मिस कर दिया आपने, जब पूरी कहानी सुनाई थी, जब पूरी कहानी सुनाई थी एक नाम मिस कर दिया।
कौन सा? छोड़िए जाने दीजिए। तो एक चीज है, जितने बच्चे बैठे हैं, जितने काम कर रहे हैं, कह दूं पब्लिकली, कम से कम ये है कि तुम लोग 1000 रुपए ले लो, सभी लोग मिठाई खा लेना। मेरी 1000 नहीं होता और होता है, और मिठाई खा लेने के सभी बच्चों ने बहुत काम किया है। और मैं कह रहा हूं कि जितना मेरे लायक सेवा हो, ड्यूटी हो, तुम लोग बताना। इसलिए नहीं कि मैं टीचर हूं, मैं भी उसी प्रोसेस से आया, उसी दुख तकलीफ से आया। और एक और बात करके खत्म कर रहा हूं कि अपने रिस्ट्रिक्शन से बचाने के लिए, एक्सपल्सन से बचाने के लिए, अभी भी कुछ एक्सपल्सन नोटिस है मेरे पास, रखता हूं ये सब चीजें रिकॉर्ड में। मैं जानता नहीं था कि चांसलर कौन होते हैं, और एक दिन झोला रख करके ऐसे झोला टांगा और मोतीबाग निकल गया। और चांसलर उस समय पीएन अक्सर हुआ करते। घंटी बजाया, उनका स्टाफ निकला, कहां बताइए कहां से आया? मैंने कहा सर JNU से आया। कहा क्यों, क्या बात हुई, कोई दिक्कत? मैंने कहा नहीं सर, चांसलर साहब से मिलना है। तो चांसलर साहब पीएन अक्सर ने जब सुना कि JNU का कोई स्टूडेंट, देयर में भी मस्ट बी सम सीरियस इशू, तो अक्सर साहब बैठाए, और पता नहीं लक बाई चांस कैसे निकलते फिर अक्सर साहब कर, बेटा तुमने अपना मास्टर्स कहां से किया था? मैंने कहा इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी से सर। जब इलाहाबाद का नाश्ता उसा बना के ले आओ तो बेटा घर से आया। दैट वाज द सेंटेंस यूज्ड बाय प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर पीएन अक्सर, एंड ही वाज द एमिनेंट इकोनॉमिस्ट एडवाइजर टू द इंदिरा गांधी। वन ऑफ द लीडिंग इकोनॉमिस्ट। और फिर जब उन्होंने नाश्ता मेरे साथ कर लिया, कहा हाँ बेटा बताओ दिक्कत क्या, कोई प्रॉब्लम है क्या जी? मैंने कहा सर मैं कावेरी एनुअल डे पर आपको चीफ गेस्ट बनाने के लिए आया। केस तो कुछ और था, एक्सपल्सन की नोटिस लिख रही थी केस तो कुछ और था, और बचाना तो एमएस आगवानी जैसे वाइस चांसलर। तो उसके बाद जब उन्होंने कहा मेरा लड़का आया है और जो बुलाएगा अगर अपने वहां पर, मैं आऊंगा नहीं, मैं आ रहा हूं, जाओ चलो मैं आऊंगा। That was the, I mean, you can say strength given by chancellor to me. और अभी मैं झोला टांग के बड़ा खुश होते हंसते हंसते अंदर से आ रहा हूं, अब बच गया गुरु, अब नहीं निकाल पाएंगे। जब आया तब तक फिर मान वॉज अ सिक्योरिटी ऑफिसर, मान वॉज सर्चिंग मी, अरे ये कहां गया, फिर कोई पंगा करेगा यार। तो एकेडमी से पॉलिटिक्स में यू कैन नॉट सी इन आइसोलेशन, बोथ आर इंटरलिंक्ड। और उसके बाद फिर मान को यही मिला लाइब्रेरी के कोने पर, आप महाराज सबकी नौकरी ले लेंगे। मैंने कहा हुआ क्या सर, कहां नौकरी जा रही है? चलिए वीसी साहब ने बुलाया। मैंने कहा आज तो पक्का है ये बाहर हो गए। एंड दैट वाज अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट इंटरेक्शन विद प्रोफेसर एमएस आगवानी। हिज अप्रोच वाज कंप्लीटली चेंज, ही वाज कूल एंड काम। कहे कि अच्छा ये बताओ अक्सर साहब को तुम कब से जानते? मैंने कहा सर सचमुच नहीं जानता। वो कह रहे ना हो ही नहीं सकता, अक्सर साहब को तुमने बुलाया है और अक्सर साहब आ रहे हैं। मैंने कहा हाँ सर आ तो रहे, अगर आप चाहेंगे तो। कर लगे कि अब वहां आने के बाद डाउन डाउन नहीं करवाओगे? मैंने कहा सर घर पे बारात बुला करके लड़की वाला हो चाहे लड़का वाला हो डाउन डाउन करेगा सर, अब मेरी इज्जत का सवाल। कह जाओ तैयारी करो। And Haksar Sahab came to take Kaveri hostel for annual day function. He stayed with us for 3 hours. बच्चों के साथ खाना खाए, कल्चरल कुछ प्रोग्राम हुआ, सब कुछ देखे। और देखने के बाद गए। उसके बाद से इनफैक्ट आई कैन नॉट से आगवानी वाज माय फ्रेंड, ही वाज माय टीचर इनफैक्ट फ्रॉम माय सेंटर इटसेल्फ। एंड फ्रॉम दैट टाइम ऑनवर्ड्स आगवानी स्टार्टेड सपोर्टिंग मी, कहे तुम अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। एंड ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ is the commitment or the way I was working, I succeeded to complete my PhD and for it other one supplement, PhD complete करते केवल 3 सुपरवाइजर बने थे मेरे। भाई मोरक्को पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम में आडवाणी वाजपेयी तो होते नहीं, वही पेपर मैं भी पढ़ा रहा कि ओनली आडवाणी एंड वाजपेयी इज अ ट्रू नेशनलिस्ट। मैंने कह दिया कि भाई आडवाणी वाजपेयी मोरक्को पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम ट्यूनिसिया में कहां से आ जा रहा है? On professor through my synopsis, I'm not going to supervise you. मैंने कहा सर बस आज के बाद, and honestly speaking after that time I did not enter his room. कभी नहीं, never. और उसके बाद जो दूसरे सुपरवाइजर, इनफैक्ट उनके अंदर खुद कोई पीएचडी नहीं थी, तो वो मजबूर थे कि यार एक लड़का तो मुझे भी मिल जाता, पीएचडी करा देता, करा मैं भी तो हो जाए। अब भी उनके अंडर में चला गया, मरता क्या नहीं करता, अपने को बचाना भी है। वो उनके अंडर में तब तक चुप बैठा रहा जब तक ग्रेड न पता चल जाए कि ग्रेड क्या दे दिया। कहीं वो जो लोबियाल भाई ने कहा है ना कि सबको, और उस समय जो कहते हैं मेंटल एक्सरसाइज ज्यादा होती नहीं थी, आज की तरह वाइब्रेंट नहीं था। सारे बच्चों को C-, B-, C-, B- यही टीचर देते थे। और उसके बाद जब इनका देखे तो ये भी हमको दिए हुए हैं B+। हमने कहा तो 5.5 बनवे नहीं करेगा। रोहतक यूनिवर्सिटी के जो एग्जामिनर थे हमको A दीजिए, पता नहीं क्या उसमें अच्छाई दिख गई हमको, तो हो गया बराबर पीएचडी। हमने कहा अब गुरु चौड़ा हो जाओ फिर। और फिर वही डाउन डाउन लेकर के धरना प्रदर्शन लेकर के वोट क्लब उस समय जिंदाबाद मुर्दाबाद चलता है। कहे मैं तुमको पीएचडी नहीं कराऊंगा। हमने कहा तो हमको भी पता है जब आपके खुद है पीएचडी नहीं तो हमको अब कहां से कराएंगे। उस समय ये भी क्लास था कि यू आर नॉट सुपरवाइज एनी पीएचडी और यू आर नॉट गिवन पीएचडी डिग्री, यू आर नॉट सपोज टू सुपरवाइज। वो भी था नहीं, अब है कि नहीं मुझे नहीं पता। अब उसके बाद हमने कहा नहीं अब तो गुरु चौड़ा जितना हो जाओ, अब तो सीजीपीए बन गया है। अब वो भी हुआ, कहा मैं नहीं सुपर। मैंने कहा सर अब आपसे भी छोड़ दे, बस आप हमारा जान छोड़िए। तो थर्ड सुपरवाइजर उनके अंदर भी कोई नहीं था। तो कहने मैंने करोगे, हमने कहा सर कर लेंगे, मरता क्या नहीं करता फिर करेंगे। तो तीसरे के अंदर हमारी पीएचडी है, हमारी भी हिस्ट्री है। कोई ऐसी नहीं है कि बहुत सब कुछ चमकता चमकता गोल्डन गोल्डन था, ऐसा नहीं है डियर। सभी का इस जिंदगी संघर्ष से भरी जिंदगी। एवरीबडी हैज टू फाइट एंड एवरीबडी हैज दिस करेज टू विन। किसी भी सिचुएशन में डरना नहीं है। अब तो हम लोग 100 लोग हैं, 100 में 20 तो आपके साथ निकल ही जाएगा, सिर्फ मत निकला कहो हु केयर्स। ठीक है, थैंक यू।
Thank you, Professor Mayan Pratap Rana, sir. So, our next topic is about current challenges and
कितने लोग हैं बता दो यार, हम लोग भूख कम कर दो नहीं।
लंच कर लेते हैं उसके बाद।
5 मिनट को आपने अगर 20-20 मिनट बना दिया तो भाई अब कैसे होगा बताओ।
रिक्वेस्ट कर लो यार, कोई बात नहीं, कल भी रिक्वेस्ट कर लो।
रहने दीजिए चाहे मैंने पूरी भूख लगा है।
राणा जी ने वैसे अच्छा कंक्लूड कर दिया।
रहने दीजिए।
हाँ मुझे
आप गजी से बात करा, हम तो यही बात कर लेंगे, गजी से बात करा लेंगे।
मुझे लगता है कि there are 2-3 problems. One is that this hall was only till 1 o'clock. That can be another issue which as CC members they might be asked to explain. That is one. Second is lunch जो है we already ordered for all of us.
अभी 3 बजने वाला है, एक बार तो जाएगा भी नहीं।
I think
मुझसे रिक्वेस्ट कर दे कंक्लूड करने।
I would like to invite Gajendra sir to conclude this session.
Dear brothers and sisters, great to be here, and I really appreciate the Central Committee members to think about this kind of interactive session, so you get to know a little more than what you probably could not yesterday. So I will not stretch for long. Very quickly, 2 components that I had in mind. Like I said, your self-development. I'm going to sort of mirror many of our earlier speakers. So, very quickly, first point, the part of self-development. Each one of us, we don't have any supportive mechanism here at the campus. Very quickly, the challenges, the institutions are deteriorating. People are not being recruited as students in many centers in places like JNU and other universities. SCSC students are suffering a lot. All that is there. Discrimination, physical attack, all of them, bodily challenges to our sisters, all of them are on the rise. Those are the challenges, and that's going to be there for many decades to come, many centuries to come, till the cost is uprooted. And we are the best placed people to interrogate that. Having said, thought about these challenges, and they are global. I face challenges in Europe. I have faced challenges in the US. And costs are there across the world. My next project is going to be on what is called globalization of cost. Already I have proposed this in Europe and elsewhere. And I'm working on what is also called what I call as global Brahminism. So it's all out there. I've done fieldwork in the Caribbean, in many countries. Took the flight from Germany, Canada, all that. So cost is the universal problem. And who's going to challenge? I'm not talking about Dalit issues, no. I'm talking about cost problems top to bottom. So these are the challenges. Who are the best people to challenge, counter it? Not the Brahmins, not the Kshatriyas, not the Vaishyas. We the people. And how do I define? I don't use the categories such as Dalit anymore. I think about ourselves as casteless and anti-caste people. That's all. All these, a brother said beautifully, who am I? Is that brother here? Probably he left. He asked, he said, like, who am I? That's a question we all have to grapple. Ideas, categories have been imposed on us. Be it Bangi, Chamar, Parayar, or whatever. Okay, and then depressed classes. What does this word mean, depressed? Okay, and then scheduled caste, and then all this, each categories. But did they ever care to ask you, who are you? How do you identify yourself? Bloody hell, I don't want to use any caste category to identify myself. Be very clear. I am speaking what shit cast do you see on my body? Have you ever raised that question? That's why some of the brothers says cultural. What is my positive culture? What is my positive history? Who has written it? How many intellectuals have said, I'm interrogating all our great intellectuals too. Unless my costlessness is centered, I interrogate any intellectual. I have read all Ambedkar volumes. I was inspired. I told you. I went to Columbia because of it. But there was somebody, we suddenly found archives in 1990s called Ayodhya Das. And I realized my costlessness because of Ayodhya Das. Let me put it straight. My book is going to be out from Oxford University Press next year, and you will read that more. So these are the challenges we had, and our costlessness, and we are the best people to challenge. But for that here, I'm shifting from the challenges into our self-development. You need to speak the way you do, better than the Brahmins, better than the Kshatriyas, and better than, ask yourself, your Hindi has to be de-Sanskritized, and it has got to be better than others. Your Tamil has to be de-Sanskritized, your Telugu, your Haryanvi. So, we got to be good in our Hindi, at the same time in English. We are all learning. Like I said, my parents never went to school. They never went to school, first generation fellow. I learned how to use A, how to use and there are things called vowels in my college. I scored the least mark in my first year at Loyola College that Umakar referred to, but I was a topper in the last year. How? So, in that sense, we got to develop not only our Hindi, but also English. So, writing style, that is where I come to UDSF, what it can do. I trained my writing through writing pamphlets. I have written more than 200 pamphlets. Can you believe? We would go to Mudirka and get it printed. You need to sit with somebody to read. There was no monitor. Somebody would type and they would miss. I would get really annoyed that somebody types with spelling mistake. So you should not have spelling mistakes. CC committee members. Your pamphlet should be exemplary, not the ABP fellows. That's how we roll. We set the bar high. Get that clear. UDSF pamphlets were different and powerful. We got trained ourselves. That's what Umakant referred to. So, there were people who came, attended our meeting by saying, Gaji, we read your pamphlet, 4 lines, but because of that I'm here. That is how we got trained. There was nobody to train. That's how. So, writing. And then that helped me to write term purpose. That helped me to write published papers. So that, and then speaking. Never had teacher training. CPS, I'm given the toughest course, philosophy. Imagine pre-Socratic philosophers. Thales, Anaximander, Anaximenes, these are pre-Socratic philosophers I remember. 9-10 members I work in the library, central library, to deliver 1.5 hours lectures on philosophy. So how to speak? UDSF played a crucial role in me. We were the people, brothers and sisters, trained my language. So how to organize, how to deliver, how to use the body language to reach people, to grip their attention. We are all tired, we are hungry. But I need to attract each pair of your eyes. How? So we have to use the body language, words and all that. So please yourself, that is a self-development at UDSF, brothers and sisters. Irrespective of our hunger, suffering, overcome that. The challenges are going to be there. How do I write? How do I speak? How do I impress? How do I go? Kick open the barriers. So these are the steps. And very quickly, when you train, so that way you have a vision very clearly, how you want to get trained. And after UDSF, after your JNU life, what is it? Very quickly, Google and see, I have initiated something called critical cost studies. Okay, the moment you print critical cost studies, it will come up. Just quickly check out my blog post called Critical Cost Studies at London School of Economics. I published this in 2021, July 5th. Chicago University, within a year, 2022, announces a postdoctoral fellowship on critical cost studies. I didn't have any contact. The idea hit so hard. So, and think about that. If you want to be, and that's going to be focused on our folks. Okay? And PhDs from here and so on. So, the first year they announced it's a good fellowship. $170,000 per annum, 2 years, 140,000. They reached at Chicago University. And they are going to focus on our folks. And secondly, then this year, Brandeis University in Boston announced it. And there is somebody a sister from Hyderabad with a PhD, she has joined as a postdoc. So aim like that, and there is Fulbright fellowship, there is Commonwealth, there are multiple other fellowships across the world. Please try that. So all of you should get trained. Okay, that is very important for your career. If you are going to fall down after becoming UDSF member, after being part of UDSF, after being part of CC, what sort of example do you set? Brothers and sisters, we get that clear. You need to excel, and we are blessed to be here. Irrespective of all the bloody challenges, we will succeed. I want you to carry that message from this kind of workshop from today. Each one of you, please train yourself. And that kind of, there are multiple opportunities. You need to kick open the doors. That phrase, kicking open the door, comes from Ambedkar. Caste in India. Caste is the door for him. That's how we imagine. Brahmin closes the door, Kshatriya closes Vaishya, and goes down, all the way down. And we have Mala, Madhya, Parabram, all that within our own groups. But we need to kick open all the doors. And there are multiple theoretical possibilities we need to do. We cannot simply celebrate with the handful of people we have. We need more theories, more philosophies, having lived in 3 continents. Lived, not passing by. I'm saying this. There are multiple theoretical possibilities. Given my chicken brain, critical caste studies is one thing, and it is impacting. And all of you may go beyond critical caste studies. But you got to really grip. So that way, these are the possibilities you get trained. Now, I'm going to conclude within a couple of minutes in the last section, social commitment. Now, each one of us, many of us, everybody, we would take a list of our brothers and sisters here on campus. And we would organize very strategically. Somebody would be very good in speaking in English, somebody would be good in Hindi. Who we are going to, are we going to meet a Kerala person, a Malayali? Okay, there could be a Nalani who would be alerted in Malayalam. Somebody would speak in English. We would go as 4 or 5 brothers and sisters. Knock the door, meet with that person. Brother, we are so and so from UDSF. We are here to hear you, and this is what we are doing. We went, and many got embarrassed. How did they know that I am from a Dalit background and so on? Said, no, all of us are from this kind of thing. So we made them comfortable. So I would know some 450 students' names. So like that, I'm telling to the queue, Amumuakan was right. It has got to be regionally focused. I'm glad you guys are there, at least 10, 15 of you. But you need to go knock other doors. Bring in new people, new from the different regions. You will get enriched. So that is your primary social commitment. That's the third component I want to say. Each one of you should go knock the door, mobilize people. That's one. And also see whether you can take it outside, UDSF principles elsewhere. So these are the very important, and also very quickly, and you can get things like CC members. Please go approach United States from Fulbright Foundation. Get somebody, a white American, not in India. No Sharma, no Banerjee should come and speak here. Get a white man or a black man or a woman from the American embassy who could speak on how to apply for Fulbright scholarship. Sir, we can't afford, but we want your help. We are brilliant students we have from SAS, from CPS, but we don't know how to apply for Fulbright fellowships. So please, from A to Z, tell us, teach us. So we need somebody to come and take a workshop. And you should know who. I don't want some Banerjee or Sharma to get proud of that. Make a list. In this kind of a room, that person would speak. It could be a black lady, it could be a black person or white person. 1 hour, 2 hours, how to apply for Fulbright fellowships. You will get to know. Right now you are at 0. Right? And likewise, how to apply Commonwealth. You don't know how to write a proposal. The first paragraph, imagine at Columbia University, I was told, sorry, take a little longer. A professor, Nicholas D. Genova, he's heading anthropology department right now in the University of Houston. I gave him the proposal. He said, Gajendran, your first paragraph was not impressive. In your proposal, if you don't have the first paragraph, not 10 lines, 10 sentences, if they don't grip me, I'm not going to touch your whole 15 pages of proposal. Please keep that lesson in your mind. This, I was trained at Columbia. So you need to grip me in the first paragraph. Otherwise you are tiring me. I don't want your bloody 20 sentences, 10 sentences. and you grip me. You start in a general way. Caste is a problem in South Asia. Simple sentence. In the last sentence, I want to focus on in the positive history of the UPIs who have been categorized as Bangis. Look at the last sentence. So caste is a general problem, first sentence. My last sentence is I'm focusing on my brothers and sisters called Bangis, and I'm not saying like Bangis, no. UPIs who have been categorized and exploited and subordinated for long as Bangis. So I'm not romanticizing the category Bangi, I'm very careful. So there they get alone. There have been people who've been called as Bangis, we insulted UPIs. How do we understand that positive history and culture? That's how you strategize. Imagine within the short minutes I'm able to say this. I can take 1, 2, 3 hours of solid workshop on this to train you. So that way I'm passing it on. Every month CC members should invite a professor. Cut Indians out. You know their last names. Cut Indian. If an American is passing by, sir, when somebody is coming to speak, sir, could you come and speak in our organization? Whatever your specialization, get the monthly one meeting. And there you will learn how this fellow is speaking in English. What is his body language? Please try to do that. 1 month, activism. Then go knock the door. Pack people here from different regions. These are the things we tried and we were relatively successful. And in between there has been a lull. I don't know. I have not lived in this campus for long, like Prana and others were saying. Never let it go down. You need to go on. We planted the seeds, like somebody said, sapling, and it's bearing fruits. Here is an example, professor, multiple professors here. So that way, you continue this, and there are so many possibilities. After all the gruesome atrocities that Professor Thorat and others have shown this, atrocities have increased in the last 75 years. Irrespective of those atrocities, I, as somebody who's retained the local address of India, come from interior in Tamil Nadu, where I was born. I'm still retaining that address, right? And I'm saying there are multiple possibilities. New theorization, new interpretations, new anti-caste leaders are to be discovered from different regions. To be discovered, like I discovered and others, we discovered Ayodhya in 1990s. About sexuality, a lady has written in 1907. Sexuality. What do you expect a 15-year-old girl to be a widow? 15-year-old girl to be a widow? Okay? No, she will not keep quiet. She will fall in love, have a baby. Because you are not allowing her to become, to get married, she is going to kill the baby and will not keep quiet. She will fall in love again and with another man. 1907, I have written, it's called Critical Caste Feminism. All my articles have been uploaded in academia.edu. Gajendra Mayapur, please read. This Critical Caste Feminism is my phrase. So 1907, and we have discovered, 1907 they published, but we discovered this archive in 1990s. That means we have been dehistoricized. This is not something unique. So the founders of feminist movement in this country are our women, and we come down from those shoulders. So that way, it's not something specific to Tamil Nadu. Every region has it. So we are yet to discover our own positive history and culture, as many were saying. So this is the social commitment that we all have to blossom with. Okay? I stop here. It's been a great opportunity. But please think about new ways of dealing with it and engaging. It's very important. And UDSF is a place where you can get trained, and we are some of the examples. We may have our own limitations. We could have become better. But
thank you, Dalit sir. So with this, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you everyone for joining this session. And before we go for the lunch, we have some photo session.
Outside lunch just announced.